Hey, folks. Welcome to Talent Talk. I'm your host, Gary McLean. Um, before I get to our guest, of course, I'm just going to throw this out there again. Just a reminder about our guest co host contest that's running from now to November 14th. Please send in your videos to tell us why you think you would be the best candidate to co host the season finale of Talent Talk, which will be airing December 12th. You can do so and get more details at the Talent Talk Facebook page, and the pin post there, or the official Talent Talk website at talenttalkmedia.ca. And make sure you get those details and get those videos in. Today's guest, he is an actor, producer based out of Toronto. He has co-founded the production company Hollow Ground Pictures, which is how it put out such projects as Citizen Normal and Days of Violence, which can now be streamed on Amazon Prime. So be sure to check out those titles there. He will also be the lead in the production company's feature film Edwin, which is currently in post-production. So we'll have to keep an eye out for that one as well. With hundreds of film credits, film and TV credits actually, to his name, this is just the tip of the iceberg for this up and coming performer. So please join me in welcoming Mr. Michael Lake. Morning, Michael.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Good, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing all right. How's the weather?
Haven't been outside in 6 months, but seems okay.
You right? Yeah, I hear that.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us. First off, let's hear a little bit about yourself. Are you originally from Toronto?
Yes, I am from Toronto. Born and raised. Grew up here. Uh, Went to school here. Started working out of here. Yeah, Toronto has always been my home.
Okay. And have you always wanted to be a performer? Or was that,
Yes.
yeah? Okay.
Yeah, I can say it's funny because whenever people ask me that, I don't ever really recall a a moment where I realized that's what I wanted to do, but it was kind of just always what I wanted to do as long as I can remember. Um, yeah, I would watch stuff all day, every day as a kid, lots of movies, TV, or whatever, and I don't know. It was just the first thing I was always fascinated by.
And were you always trying to perform what you saw on TV or?
A little bit. Um, yeah. I I was kind of fond of, I don't know, mimicry or like uh, uh, like kind of emulating things that I saw on TV, maybe to a bit of an extreme as a young kid. But yeah, I was always just fascinated by actors and what they were doing and how things were made.
Okay. And as a child, do you have a favorite childhood TV show that you can recall? I'm just,
um,
I'm just curious.
yeah, I loved Arthur. I do remember loving him from a young age. He was a cartoon character with glasses, so I identified as a kid. um, the The Simpsons was a big one. CBC would show reruns at 5 o'clock every day, so that was always like an after school kind of ritual. Yeah.
Okay. And were you taking drama and stuff all through high school or were you in like the elementary
I
seasonal plays and stuff like that? And
Yeah. My acting experience has actually started on Saturdays outside of school. I belonged to this like drama school called Young People's Theatre, which is still going, still very active in Toronto. Still doing terrific things for young people. But that was like my my weekends from like age 8 to like 17. I would go every single year. They had different kind of programs that kind of got like more challenging or more specific the older you got. But yeah, that was I did that like forever. It was one of my first jobs too. Was actually sort of I wasn't the camp counselor, but I ended up kind of like working for the camp, which was pretty cool at a certain point. But yeah, young people's theater, I owe everything to them. Like they were the ones that sort of molded my young mind into really wanting to perform.
okay, oh, that's fair.
Yeah.
And was it always just kind of the acting side, or did you do like the musical side as well, or?
I've always had an appreciation for musicals. I cannot carry a tune, so I was I was never in many musical things. Um, I was always fascinated with acting, of course, but I'm such a fan of words. I really want to uh, write stuff or kind of come up with the dialogue that the characters are saying too. So yeah, that led to a sort of similar interest in that regard.
Okay.
Yeah,
And so, okay, high school is over.
yeah.
What was the kind of the first like? Were you able to kind of continue that focus onto the acting, or did you have to kind of get sidetracked with getting a job and all that kind of stuff first? And
I was working pretty consistently like out of high school, but I was auditioning for stuff kind of in high school as well. So I sort of just like stayed on the same track. I was kind of just doing the same sort of things after graduating high school. I was uh, working like part-time jobs and um, while auditioning and while creating stuff and while working on projects. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And speaking of the creating portion, when do you think you kind of delved into that a bit deeper? Um, Same with me. Acting was the first thing, and then I eventually
Yeah.
just developed into the producing side of things. So, um, when do you think that started for you?
Um, Relatively recently, within the frame of my life, I would say. Probably only the last 4 or 5 years, I've really wanted to uh, produce stuff. I always saw the kind of value of producing your own content as a concept, but it's been the last couple of years that I've really uh, kind of hunkered down and try to get stuff made rather than uh, try to be just the one in it. I've wanted to create things that lots of people can work on together. Um, so yeah, I'd say that was sort of born out of just like really good partnerships and collaborations and stuff. Um, my friend Stuart and I, we formed Hologround Pictures around that time, and we um, yeah are just always kind of uh, trying to do the next thing with that company.
Okay, and when did that? What year did that actually come to fruition? The Hollow Ground.
Um, we started working on Citizen Normal in about 2013 or 14. Uh, Citizen Normal was actually originally a web series, which through a series of rewrites became a feature film called Days of Violence. Um, Days of Violence is on Amazon, and there's a sort of like a kind of like prequel side quill kind of story now attached to it called Citizen Normal that we're hoping to release in the near future. Um, but yeah, all this sort of spiraled quickly and like 2014, 2015ish, while we were working on the two projects sort of simultaneously.
Okay, and Days of Violence, is that feature?
Days of Violence, yeah, it's a feature film streaming on Amazon Prime in the US and the UK.
Okay, I'm just gonna pop the poster up here because I've got that
Sure.
handy here. So,
Yeah.
again, we'll have to poke our head around because there it is,
Mm.
this guy right here.
Yeah.
And okay, and how long did it take to shoot that film?
Um, the schedule was a bit sporadic only because the project went through a very transformative phase, like literally while it was being filmed. We would kind of film it like as per everyone's schedule. So it was like a sort of like production that would sort of happen on like weekends or long weekends or whatever, and kind of on and off for like a couple months. And we went back for like reshoots maybe the following year. So the timeline is a bit fuzzy, but I immensely enjoyed every second of it.
Right,
Yeah,
and that's the thing with the independent projects, right? Is they
yeah,
they tend to take a little longer to film because you're working around other people's schedules.
yeah, yeah.
Um, just out of curiosity, was there much of a budget for this, or um,
It was small, a small budget, pretty low budget. Like financed independently. Um, Lots of people and resources at our disposal that were just terrific to work with and to use. Yeah, we did some really interesting kind of creative uh, uses of our resources, and yeah, I'm really proud of that movie for that reason.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and yeah, exactly. With the independent films, you kind of you do have that sense of accomplishment when you do it on practically no budget,
Yeah,
um, for sure. So, was that what was your first feature? I guess that your production company did. Was it Days of Violence or was it Citizen?
there is a movie retroactively that sort of became the first feature of Hollow Ground. This is actually a movie that I am not personally in, but it is actually available to watch on YouTube in its entirety. It's a movie called Playing Cards,
Okay.
which my friend Stuart he directed um, before I even knew him, and then I guess Days of Violence would sort of officially be our first kind of collaboration that we released together. There is a sort of another chapter called Citizen Normal, which we're hoping to release soon. Um, but yeah, that's sort of the timeline of things.
Okay. And do you have any input or do you delve into the writing side at all?
Yeah, I've always been very particular as like an actor about things that I say. So sometimes when this isn't just for our company, but sometimes when I've got a script, I will always confer with the director or the writer or whoever who wrote it if they were like open to me saying a line a different way. That has in turn led to like a little bit of script doctoring and stuff, which is something I immensely enjoy. Um, I'm just so particular about like language, especially if it's coming out of my mouth, that I do like having a hand on the writing for the characters I portray. And yeah, like absolutely, I've always uh, been fascinated by like dialogue and scenarios and things to get into. So yeah, we're always constantly like brainstorming ideas for writing and how to execute particular scenes or how to put them into the scope of a larger project and stuff. Yeah, it's something I writing is something I really enjoy doing with a partner. It's like I just love having that second person or however many people to kind of back up your ideas with you. It's really
Right.
fun.
Yeah, brainstorm a bit and yeah. Yeah, no, I get that for sure.
Mhm.
Um, have you delved into the uh, behind the scenes in terms of directing or anything at this point? Is that something you'd
I have I have
like to
not
do?
I've never directed anything myself. It's something I would be interested in, like in theory. I know that directors work like really, really hard, and like your projects kind of become like your children. You just have to invest so much into them, emotionally and financially. So I have never yet had the experience where I've kind of commanded the room and led things or directed anything. I have endless respect for the people that do it. I know it's an incredibly challenging job. Um, yeah, it hasn't happened yet. I've um, I dabble on on like different projects a lot. Sometimes I'll work on projects simultaneously, so I know that that would uh, be a bit more of a complicated effort as a director because you got to put so much of yourself into this one project. Um, so short answer, no. I've never directed anything, but it's I don't know. Never say never. I would be open to it.
Right. No, absolutely. Yeah, I've tried it once. So I'm good. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, there's definitely a whole new set of responsibilities for the director. Well, I mean, it's basically all encompassing, right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, from the ideas the vision you see on set to the vision transfer to the editing room and putting that together there, and
Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
yeah, there's definitely a lot of work and a lot of respect that goes to those guys for sure.
Yeah.
Um, so, so when it comes to the movies that you do have available on Amazon Prime right now, is that all across all of the Amazons, or is that just like Amazon US or Amazon Canada? Or
Uh, Days of Violence is on Amazon US and UK. Um, I have tried to reach out to other um, distribution companies and whatnot, and we are trying to figure out a model to get that into other countries right now. Um, so that's kind of what we're working on. But yeah, the project is available on Prime in the US and the UK. I actually discovered by complete accident that another previous project of mine had ended up on there, the film David Robson. Um, so yeah, it's kind of I don't know. It's a model that's a bit hard to predict. Like it's a really really cool platform to kind of feature your work and feature independent work. And I think the goal right now is just to expand it into other territories.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I've got a short film that's also on there, and I'm still trying to figure out how to get it on the Canadian one because
Hmm.
that's where my prime audience is going to be. So
Yeah,
it might be
exactly.
nice to get it on there, right? So
We're in the same situation. It's like a homegrown film made in Canada, so we'd really love to show it to our audience.
yeah, absolutely. It's kind of frustrating, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's how it works at this point. I don't know if that'll change down the road. Hopefully.
Hmm.
Um, when it comes to Cis and Normal, can you tell us a little bit about the? Well, actually, let's if you can get into the details of what Cis and Normal is actually about, and also Days of Violence, and just give an idea of what the projects are about, and maybe what your role it was in those as well.
Sure. Sounds good. The two films do kind of exist in the same, uh, well, yeah, in the same universe. Um, I am playing the same character in both of those films, mostly because they were kind of originally born out of the same script. Um, but yeah, it is a sort of a dark sort of psychological thriller. The film does deal with themes of like uh, serial killers and torture and murder and all that dark stuff. I play like a photographer who has been kind of put in this position where he's working for someone who is doing these terrible things and is now trying to find a way to separate himself from his work, and ultimately chaos ensues. It features a really big uh, uh, cast. There's like lots of plot threads going on. There's lots of interesting mysteries that kind of intertwine with each other, and yeah, it's a really fascinating script. And I worked with some tremendous people on there. Met some of my best friends on there, and um, there are trailers on YouTube if you want to see a more visual representation of what I'm talking about. But I, yeah, could not be happier with the opportunity to work on those two films.
Okay, and let's touch on Edwin a bit, which is I think currently in post production, right?
Yes.
Your next
Um,
feature for the
yeah.
for the for Hollow Ground as well, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Correct.
and you're the lead.
I am playing the eponymous Edwin. Um, it this was a movie that was sort of born out of the desire to do something and do something like right now. My friend Stuart and I, we were kind of working on a few other projects, and we had a few kind of ideas in the ether. And then he dug up this script that he had written, like again before we even knew each other. The script was like a decade old at that point, I think. Um, and he had seen uh, a trailer for another project I had done where I was kind of playing uh, a bit more. There was a bit more of a like an emotional kind of thing going on in that trailer. So that the light bulb went off in his head to ask me if I wanted to read Edwin, and of course I did. And I read it in like one sitting. Um, Immediately loved it, and I was kind of just like, we have to make this like right now. um, so that was, yeah. I was saying like as a producer, I wanted um, a platform to like work with people a way to like kind of make our own projects and make them on our own sort of time. So Edwin was the perfect opportunity, the perfect vehicle for that. It's a psychological movie, psychological thriller, and features relatively few characters and relatively few locations, but uses them so well and in such a way that like the movie is it's so much fun to watch and it's so unpredictable. And I felt that when I was reading it, I felt like we are onto something like really special here. I think this is a brilliantly crafted story. And now, a year or two later, now that I've actually seen like a little bit of the film, like I'm really happy that we invested in this project at the exact right time.
Okay. I'm going to get back to your character development for that in a minute here.
Sure. Yeah.
But I'll just throw a couple of the posters up here for Edwin as well, so folks can see that. Again, apologies that you have to look at our face at the same time, but here's one of the posters.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of creepy.
Yeah.
Nice. I like it. He's writing a killer story. And then we got this guy here. Yeah, I like this poster.
Yeah.
I think the one works well.
Yeah, our friend Stephen Donkers designed both those photos, both those posters, and yeah, he does really fantastic, interesting things with some stills that we shot on set.
Yeah, well, that's good. So for your character and
Yeah.
your development of your character,
Yeah.
and this kind of also in general as well, what processes do you go through to prep for your character, and what elements do you take from your own personality to enhance that character? Let's hear it.
I like knowing about as much as I possibly can about a character before I start portraying them. So I like to ask those questions with the writer, director, what have you. Edwin himself is a writer, which I always thought was really cool. I don't know why, but I had a particular kind of attachment to playing a writer on screen. I always thought that would be like a really cool kind of mental exercise. I know it's sort of like a tradition in Stephen King stories that the protagonist is always a writer, and I know he does that as to be a sort of like surrogate character for himself. But I've always thought that was kind of cool and fascinating. Writers are interesting people. They have lots like going on in their heads, and are often kind of like introverted or have very like distinct kind of character defining personalities. So when I was reading about Edwin and I was reading about all the sort of fascinating kind of morbid things that go on in his head, I really liked sitting in the character and just being that character like all day, just kind of embodying him. It goes the same with every character. Like you can kind of ask these questions about how they walk, how they talk, what they would or wouldn't say. But yeah, I feel like a big part of it is just doing your homework, knowing the lines really well, knowing the lines well enough that you can think of the things that are not being said. Yeah, I think that the key to kind of channeling or unlocking a character is just knowing as much about that person as you possibly can, whether they're real or not real. There's always a backstory there, which you can know and you can kind of project onto the screen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And when it comes to, so do you consider yourself kind of method then, or if you're delving or like being that character?
I do like, yeah, I do like to maintain the character's kind of state of mind on set as much as I can. Between takes or what have you, I feel like it just helps you kind of stay a bit more grounded. But but then there are instances of like I would not take the character home with me. I don't think I I can separate myself at least that much. And especially if you're going on like a longer break, if you're going for lunch or something, it's nice to interact with the cast and crew as yourself. Um, but yeah, like when I'm uh, in the moment, when it's actually being done, I do feel a certain attachment to these characters, and I would like to kind of just like stay in that body and in that mind.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's no trailer available for this at this point, right?
For Edwin, there is actually a very short teaser that is on our YouTube channel.
Okay.
It is the definition of a teaser. It it's all visual. It teases a little bit about the tone of the film, but not really about what the film is about. We are actually working as we speak on a kind of another more practical kind of traditional trailer, and I've seen it. It gave me goosebumps. So I'm really hoping to release that on our social media soon.
And is it just Hollow Ground if they search on YouTube? Would they be able to find your
Yeah,
channel there?
hologround pictures. You should be able to find us fairly easily.
Okay. So yeah, folks, if you want to check that out, I know I haven't seen it yet, so I'll be checking out the teasers shortly here. So as soon as we're done here, which by the way, end of show. I'm gonna go check that out now. No, I'll just, um, no, that's good. No, I'm kind of looking forward to seeing how that plays out, and definitely keep me posted even after we're done here. I'd like to find out more about that.
Yeah, me too. I really appreciate that. And it's interesting because as an actor or even as a producer, I know what happens on the day, but I never really see it until it reaches the edit, if that makes sense. So
Mhm.
there are some projects I've been involved with where I've kind of remembered what we were doing on the day or like what have you, or but then when you see it in the edit, like it's a whole new product. And that I always have found that fascinating too. Like editors deserve all the respect.
Oh, absolutely. So that does kind of bring up another question I have is, do you tend to watch your own films? Like, are you able to do that? I know some actors they can't watch themselves.
Depends on the context. I was not good at it at the beginning of my career. I don't know. I would always get too in my head about it when I first started acting. I have grown to appreciate it a bit more and get like a little bit better at it, um, especially when it comes to a thing like Edwin or something I produced, like having to watch the dailies or having to watch like like a rough cut or something. It is something I can wrap my head around a little bit better now. Yeah, and if I'm ever in the position where I'm trying to convince someone else to watch their work, I try I try to be like a little accommodating and kind of keep that in mind. And know it's not a comfortable experience for everyone, but for me personally, it was a hump that I kind of got over. Um, and yeah, there's something kind of special about when you finally do get to watch it with uh, a group, or you finally get to see the fruits of your labor. I had a weird thing about it for a while, but I have come to appreciate it a bit more.
Yeah, and I think it's a pretty common theme for most of us anyway. That we're all our own worst critics, right? So
Yeah,
I know I still watch my stuff and go, oh my god, why did I do that?
yeah,
I think it's just par for
it
the
is very true.
course.
It is very true. When you watch something that you're in, the natural kind of reaction is probably going to be uh, like you're studying yourself as closely as possible. But if you're watching something you're in with other people, they're going to be doing the same thing. So they don't. they don't.
Yeah, right.
It eases you up in that regard. Yeah.
It's actually kind of funny because if you're watching it with the other actors that are in them, it's almost like they're all just kind of watching themselves,
Yeah.
saying, "Yeah, I don't care what you're doing in this scene. What did I do here?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I didn't like that at all. That was okay."
Yeah.
It's kind of funny, but yeah, makes it interesting, I suppose. um, I just wanted to also throw out the reminder to folks that are watching. I do know we have a few folks watching that if you do have questions for myself or Michael, just toss it into the comment section and we'll make sure we get it answered for you. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's what it is, an interactive show. So yeah, don't be afraid to chime in or just comment. Say you don't like the fact that it looks like we're actually in the same room with the wall in the background. Whatever. It's kind of a free realm there. You go ahead and talk.
That is kind of
Um,
funny.
yeah, I noticed it earlier in the beginning. I was just kind of like, wow, we got the same tone going on. It's just slightly different lighting. That's really about it.
Yeah.
Um,
I
yeah,
swear we're in different provinces.
we are completely opposite sides of the country, pretty much.
Mhm.
Um, there's another show I wanted to kind of touch base on, um, which is an A&E show called Waco, Madman or
Yes.
Messiah. And
Yeah.
I just want to, because I know, as you're aware, I made the mistake of thinking it might have been the one that was on Netflix. That is not the case. It is a separate entity.
Yeah.
But maybe you can tell us a little bit more about that and maybe what your role was in that.
Sure. Waco, Madman or Messiah. It is, yes, an A&E sort of docudrama. It features real kind of footage of the situation that happened in Waco in 1993. There's a fascinating and terrifying history to that, but basically it involves sort of a cult leader kind of fortified in a citadel that ended up in a kind of fatal shootout with the FBI. Um, but yeah, our film infuses like real life footage with kind of reenacted scenes. Um, I played the role of a man named Graham Craddock, who was sort of a lackey, a sort of cult member who prays to this man, David Koresh, and he worked for him and he worshipped him and kind of lived in this citadel with him. Um, that was a fascinating and really fun project to work on. I am based in Toronto. The show was shot in Montreal, and I auditioned for it and was basically told to go there like the next week, um, and spent about a week, 7 or 8 days, not actually in Montreal proper, but in this town about an hour outside called Broussard. Um, we kind of just like spent all day on this kind of compound um, outside of the city that was like this kind of like farm property that they kind of repurposed to kind of act as this like grimy sort of bunkery kind of hideout. Um, yeah, it's a fascinating story. It's a tragic story. Um, they cast the show really well because we were portraying real life people, so we um, had to kind of look the part and kind of fit the part really well. I've got like a sort of um, creepy, gristly little beard in it that I wasn't really a fan of, but it was part of what Craddock looked like at the time. He actually is a survivor of that whole ordeal, so he is actually ironically in the film too. Um, so um, yeah, it was a great time filming in the sort of greater Montreal area. We worked at a very frantic pace. I also don't speak French, so sometimes I would need to get the crew to repeat things for myself. Um, but it was a fascinating shoot. The wardrobe team like kind of made us kind of dirtied us and muddied us up and made us look like we were living in this kind of burned out citadel in a very effective way. It was also, I think, my first instance of working with like live fire on set, literally running through this kind of like fire track that they had set up and kind of doing some preliminary stunt work. That was a lot of fun and a really cool learning curve. Um, yeah,
Okay. And because you are portraying real people, Was there a bit of a different process when it came to the character development on that, or um, like did you get
Yeah,
an opportunity to talk to folks that were actually there, or
I like that the character work is kind of cut out for you when you're portraying a real person. But there was other footage and other documentaries from the years like since where you can see kind of what these people are doing and what these people were like. So um, the resources were easily accessible, which was pretty cool. Um, and yeah, the just the team that goes into like building the world, like they were so on top of it. Like the wardrobe department had like uh, just the perfect replicas of like things that they were wearing and stuff like that. So it felt like if quite literally you're just like kind of slipping into their clothes, and it was really cool. Um, it felt, because there were so many of us there, and we were working on kind of such a unique sort of set. Like it wasn't like a pretty soundstage or anything. Like it was literally just kind of like a burnt out kind of grimy old building. Um, it was like it felt easy to like live in it. It felt easy to like kind of think about what the characters might have been going through and stuff.
right, right?
Yeah.
So there was nobody on set that was actually there, or just kind of for
No,
reference.
no. There are instances of in the it because it's like a sort of hybrid documentary feature sort of thing. There are instances in the film where the real people were like spoken to, but we never met any of them. Like our primary directive was to kind of shoot the recreation scenes, but I don't think, save for maybe the director and some of his team, I don't think any of the actors ever really interacted with the people they were playing. A lot of them did not survive, but
Yeah.
I no, I never met the man I was playing or anything like that.
Yeah, I don't know. That would have been pretty cool, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, even though I was alive during that time and I know of the event,
yeah,
um, I didn't really know a lot of the details that were shown. Like again, I apologize as I have not seen the A&E version. I did see the
yeah,
Netflix version, but even from that one, like just I was really amazed at some of the details that kind of came out on that one.
yeah.
Because yeah,
That's what these movies do best, or movie, whether it's a movie, TV show, or whatever. Like they kind of preserve that history, and you just kind of learn all sorts of things you never knew, a lot of particular details about it. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Um, and was that kind of just out of curiosity? Was that kind of your? Actually, I'll change the question a bit. What was your first major set to be on? So not an independent film set, but an actual major production.
Um, when I was a bit younger, I was actually I some of my first gigs. I was on like an episode of this like Family Channel show, so like relatively early, I did realize the kind of different scopes of like sets. Um, you would see things that had bigger productions, and you would see things that were kind of more smaller, sort of passion projects. So yeah, I was, and there was some commercial work around that time too. So I learned that different kinds of sets existed very quickly. I I learned that there was like different types of productions happening always and in equal measure.
Right.
Yeah.
And what would you say was your first paid gig, I guess, that you
First paid.
recall?
Yeah. There was actually a series of summers there where I was working in Vaughan, which is like a city that's probably just like 45 minutes, an hour out of Toronto. Um, but we worked on this sort of like mockumentary kind of show called Behind the Scenes, and it was like a very, very early screen credit for me. But it was always the most fun working with those guys, and that was like, I'm pretty sure that was the first time I was paid for my efforts.
Okay. All right. And have you done a lot of commercials or anything like that, or has it just been mainly actual TV film?
um, I have been in a couple. Probably the most infamous one is I was in this holiday sort of campaign for Zellers. Um, you probably remember Zellers. I'm not sure if everyone would know what I'm talking about, but it was a Canadian department store that is no longer with us. I was actually in their last ever ad campaign, funnily enough.
Okay.
But I was in like a Christmas commercial for that a couple years ago, and or whenever they closed, whenever that was. And yeah, I've like I don't know. There's something fun about doing commercial work. I haven't sought it out in recent years a whole lot, but like there's always a fun kind of weird energy to what an advertising team can come up with. So like I always enjoyed doing them. I would seek them out occasionally, auditioned for some, acted in a couple. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah, I've been in a couple, but not for a while.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, they're definitely a little bit different. It's usually like a 1 day thing, and yeah, usually.
Yeah.
Um, where was I going to go with this? Well, we're creeping up on the tail end here. I do have kind of I guess you could call it one of those would you rather questions for you.
Okay.
Um, when it comes to movies, would you rather watch a movie in a theater by yourself or with friends, but you're like the third wheel?
Watch a movie by myself. Huh.
So it's either by yourself
Yeah.
or sitting in between, your date couples.
I would probably opt for by myself. Um, that was not too uncommon a thing for me prior to the pandemic. I haven't been to a movie theater in 6 months, but like I'm a I I try to consume a lot of film, so I was often in a position where I would just like go to the theater if I had a couple hours to kill, and um, sometimes within the context of like a festival or something like that, I kind of love cinema hopping and going to multiple movies in a day or something like that. So yeah, I think that would probably be my choice.
Okay. It was just, yeah, a fun
Yeah,
question to throw out there.
yeah,
I'd probably be the same answer, to be honest.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, it's not very often I went to a movie by myself, but yeah, sometimes it was kind of nice. Just
yeah.
chill. Yeah, it was all
It can
right.
be it can be relaxing, and it can be a way to take the edge off or whatever. Yeah.
Yes. So another question, I guess, would be since it seems like Hollow Ground's genre preference seems to be a bit suspense,
Yeah.
thriller type deal. Is that like a personal favorite genre of yours, or do you have another genre that you kind of?
Yeah. I'd say that is definitely a favorite. I love stuff that is driven by characters, like drama that is driven by characters and their own personal drama. But yeah, suspense, thrillers, horrors, those are something I'm really into. I mentioned Stephen King earlier in the interview, but he was like a huge influence on me. I started reading his stuff at like 10, 11 years old and never really stopped because he never really stopped. Um, and then, um, like, the horror genre is to me so fascinating because it can encompass so many different types of movies. Like there are horror movies that are like really really grisly, and there's some that are more psychological, and there's some that are like kind of funny, and then there's some that kind of play more like straight dramas. And um, that's I feel like a lot of horror happens kind of in Canada because they usually feature kind of like lower budgets or kind of unique kind of sceneries that our country has. Um, so yeah, like I love that genre. I have for a long time, and that is I do like working on projects like that. Projects where a lot is going on in the character's head can be like a fascinating challenge for an actor.
For sure. I gotta ask though, like reading Stephen King at 11, there's some pretty intense content in those
Yeah.
books. Did you ever have nightmares?
It's weird. Like I don't think I've ever really been someone who has like particularly terrifying like scary nightmares. Like my nightmares usually manifest more in like anxiety dreams. Just they're too grounded in reality. Um, so um, yeah, I don't ever really uh, recall any particularly traumatic nightmares or anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure I would have if I was reading it at that age, but
Yeah, yeah.
but I don't know. I'm like you. I like the kind of the horror suspense thriller genres.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I would have been fine. But yeah. Actually, you know what? I'll be honest with you. From like on a personal aspect, like I didn't really expect to be into that genre. I was
Yeah.
more like when I was growing up, I was into the whole gangster type stuff, like the mafias, and
Right.
that was always kind of my thing. I was always pretending to be, Robert De Niro in
Yeah, yeah.
Goodfellas or whatever, right? And or in yeah, even in the Godfather and all that kind of stuff. That was kind of my
Yeah.
scene.
Yeah.
So to
Yeah.
be producing the thriller slash suspense stuff is actually a bit of a shock to me, to be honest.
That's
Um,
yeah. I mean, I especially this year, given the context, but I do watch a lot of film, and I pretty much have an appreciation for all kinds, like all genres. If the movie itself can kind of achieve what it's trying to do, like yeah, I'm always I I'm not that discerning in what I'll watch, and if a movie can entertain me for 90 minutes, 2 hours, like I'm happy.
yeah, absolutely, and yeah, and definitely, like I'm definitely for the entertainment value.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily need to send a message in terms of political or anything like that. I just like to be
Right.
entertained.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's just me. I have simple needs.
Yeah.
um, yeah, so if you don't mind, if you're up for it, I think we're around
Yeah.
that time where we can start doing our little end of show phrase challenge.
Okay.
I know that's what everybody that's watching waits for, intently waiting. They watch the entire show just for this moment.
Yeah.
Probably not. But just another quick reminder for the folks that are watching, because I still see there's a few folks watching. Um, yeah, if you have any questions, comments, please throw them in, and also feel free to participate in our little phrase challenge, which I will now kind of explain what the deal is with that.
All right.
Um, so I believe you've got the link I sent you, which creates a
Yeah.
random phrase. You can change the quantity of phrases on the left side there and say 5 or whatever. That's usually what I go with. And you can choose one of the random ones that come up on the right side. I'm going to grab my little stopwatch here. It's very much like charades where you can say things like 3 words, first word, that kind of deal. No real verbal
Okay.
cues. Um, and you have 30 seconds to kind of act it out and for me to guess. Of course, when you're on screen and it's your turn, which you will be going first because that's what I do. I give the guest the chance to go first.
Okay.
Um, you'll be full screen like that, which I'll just leave it there for now.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, so again, 30 seconds, and then it'll, because there is a bit of a delay from the time we're actually doing this to what the audience gets to see.
All
There's
right.
about 5-10 seconds. So when you're done, if I haven't guessed correctly, and vice versa, we'll give a few seconds for the folks to kind of chime in and
Okay.
throw their guest in.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I don't know if you're ready or not, but we'll give the first round a shot here. Usually we do 2 or 3 rounds,
Sounds good.
depending how quick it goes.
Yeah.
So yeah, you let me know when you're ready. I'll click the start button and you can give it a shot.
So I'm picking one of the phrases from this list.
Yep, and just however many words, just go, 3 words, whatever the case is, and first word, whatever, second word, whatever
Okay.
you want to start with.
No,
And I know we're
no
kind of
verbal.
limited to the screen size, so I know
Yeah.
you can't do like a full body for the most part. But
Yeah.
um, sorry, what was your question?
No verbal cues. We're doing like charades rules.
Correct. Yeah, yeah. No
Okay.
verbal cues. I mean, you can do sounds like or whatever, but
Okay.
that's about it. Yeah.
Hmm. All right. This should be interesting.
All right.
All right. Cool. Okay, I'm ready.
All right. And go. 4 words.
Um,
No.
um,
Uh,
uh,
disagree. 4th word. Fly. Okay. Perfect. Fly. 2nd word. Hack. Punch. Attack. Um, hurt. Hurt? Oh, perfect. Oh, actually, we're out of time too. Man, 30 seconds goes fast.
I don't know. That
Okay,
felt like
so
an eternity to me personally.
all right, so 4 words. 2nd word, hurt. 4th word, fly.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's see if I can figure this out here. Um, couldn't hurt a fly.
Yeah.
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 Nice. Nice. Yay. I like it when I get it right. Um, not sure if anybody else got that, but that's okay. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
All right. I will select my phrase here as well. Um, doo-doo. Ooh. Okay. Switch it over here. All right. Let's see. I don't know. This one might be kind of tricky. All right. You ready?
Yeah.
All right.
4 words. 4th word. Gun. Shoot. Shoot. Gun. All right.
Hmm.
Circle. Son. Son of a gun. Yeah.
Nice. Oh, we're on a roll. Oh,
Yeah.
just in time too. Look at that. Nice. Good job. I wasn't sure how I was gonna do the sun. I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
know. All right. If you want, you can choose another one, and if you just hit the generate random phrase, it'll bring up another different 5 phrases if you don't like what you have left.
Okay. Um. Okay. Yeah. I think I got one.
All right. I'll switch it back to you. There we go. And you let me know when you're ready.
All right. I'm good.
All right. Go. 4 words. First word. Throw. Perfect. Second word. In. Ah, throw.
Um. Oh.
Okay. 4th word. I'm gonna say throw in the towel.
Yeah.
Nice. Wow. This is unprecedented. Not even giving the folks on the watching a chance to figure it out. Apologies for that. All right. This is gonna be a tough one, I think.
Okay.
Hmm. Switch it back. Nice. Good job, Mary. She got it. All right.
Thank you, Mary.
What was this one? Oops. All right. Ready?
Yeah. 4 words. 4th word. Drink, choke, swallow. Swallow? Okay. First word. Hit, pound, fist, knuckle, hand. Third word. Okay. Small, bite, choke, sip.
Oh, we're out of time anyway.
Ah,
Yeah, we'll give it a few seconds, see if anybody can get that one. So the fourth word was swallow. 4 words.
fourth word. Okay.
Yeah. It's a little bit tougher, that one, I think.
Yeah. Fourth word is. Yeah, I don't know.
Give it a couple more seconds here just in case somebody's got a guess. And all right, I'm just going to throw it out there because hopefully somebody will have at least typed it in by now if they had a guess. Yes, hard pill to swallow. I couldn't figure out how to do hard.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hard pill.
And then, yes. Mary,
Yeah.
I think she beat the delay there. So, yeah. So hard to swallow, very close. But
Yeah.
hard pill to swallow is what the answer was. Very
Yeah.
close, Mary. All right. We have time for one more round if you want to do one more. If not, it's all good.
Yeah, I'll find one. I'll do one more.
Perfect. Awesome.
I've never been good at this game, so this is validation I need today. Hang on. Okay, cool. I got one.
Oh, I better switch it back to you. There we go. All right. 4 words. Fourth word. Punch. Okay. Punch. Perfect. First word. Rolling. Really? Rolling? Well, okay. Awesome. Punch. Okay. Second word. Cup. Together. Placing. Oh, we're out of time.
Yeah.
So 4 words. First word was rolling. And fourth word was punch. Mary's got rolling with the punches.
Yeah.
And so does Jan. Jan also has rolling with the punches.
Yeah, you got it.
Nice.
I was trying to tell you that punch was plural, but I forgot the international cue for that.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I don't even know, to be honest.
Rolling with the punches.
Perfect. Nice job, everybody. All right.
Yeah.
Last one, and then we'll wrap this thing right up.
All right.
I think this one will be. It's hard to say if it'll be difficult or not. All right. Switch it back over. If you're ready, we'll go.
All right. Ready. 4 words. First word. Shoot. Bullet. Shooting. Shot. Shot in the dark.
Oh, nice. Beautiful. Love it.
Yeah.
That is correct. I was like, how do I do dark? Oh wow, I'm impressed
Yeah.
you got that with that. That was impressive.
Yeah.
All right. Well, no, thanks for participating in that little wrap up there.
That was fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. I have fun with it. Hopefully, yes, thank you, Jan. You got that as well. I'm very impressed that you folks got that. That was impressive considering. Uh, so again, thank you, Michael, for joining us. Thanks for the folks
Yeah.
watching for chiming in and uh, participating, because I love it when you guys do that. Just makes my day. Um, I want to say, you know what? Let's bring you back into the screen here. That would be nice. There we go. um, I want to wish you the best of luck with Edwin. Edwin, I'm really looking forward to when that comes out. I'd like to definitely
Thank you.
see that a bit more.
Yeah, we'll
Um,
keep you posted.
yes, please do. And for the folks that are watching, make sure you look for on Amazon Prime. Make sure you work. Getting tongue tied now. Make sure you have a look for Citizen Normal and Days of Violence on Amazon Prime. Unfortunately, only available in the US and the UK, which I understand that frustration. So share with your US and UK friends. There you go. And yeah, no, thanks again for coming in. I hope you have a great weekend. Thanks to the folks watching. Tune in next week, as our next guest is actually an Australian actor slash producer, who's he's currently residing in LA, and he's got a film that's currently out, and we'll definitely talk about that. Um, and his name is Ben Milliken, as you can see, that's rolling at the bottom here. So keep an eye out for that. And the other thing I forgot to mention on behalf of Michael here is, if you want to find out more details about Hologram Pictures, you can do so on Instagram and Facebook via @Hologram Pictures. So be sure to check them out, and also check out them on YouTube as well if you want to see a couple of the teasers or whatever they may have going on there. So thanks again, Michael, and
Yeah.
stay on the line for a second after I log off here, and see you all next week. Thanks again, and if there's no other comments and questions, we'll see. See ya. Thanks.
Thanks.